What is up, UFL fans, football fans, but most importantly, Houston Roughnecks fans? That's right. I finally got the flag. I got the LEDs. It's all set up. It's almost done. And I'm doing it for all y'all because Roughnecks Nation, we're going to win the whole thing this year. Today, I have a very, very special episode. One of the newest players to the Roughnecks. We drafted him in the Divisional Dispersal draft. He is the reigning, he currently holds the modern USFL sack record with 15. Yes, Philadelphia Stars, former Philadelphia Stars, defensive end, edge rusher, possibly fullback. Adam Rodriguez is joining us on the show today. Let's get into it.
I'm in the big leagues, told them don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, hey, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly.
All right, Adam, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show, first of all.
Appreciate you for having me.
Oh, heck yeah, man. So, the dispersal draft, all that stuff. How has life been this football offseason with all the uncertainty, all the merger news, being a player, waiting to find out what was going to happen? How's it been for you?
It's been kind of hectic. Family just messing with me all the time. Like, are you going to get a job? You playing ball? I don't know. We didn't hear nothing. So it was a waiting game. And I guess we're still kind of waiting to hear what they have in store for us for camp. Like, it's just been a waiting game, and it's been kind of annoying.
That's always a very fun thing for me is like what do players do in the off season for jobs? Some players they work out the whole time. They just live off what they made in the season. Other players they're like, I'm a handyman. Just like super random stuff. So what do you do in the off season?
I have 2 kids, so my wife has a job, so I usually stay home dad. So when I put them down for a nap, I work out. And then as soon as they wake up, go back to dad mode and make sure the house is clean. They eat, they stay alive. That's about it. Live off of what I made last season. Plus my wife's income.
That's about the most respectable off-season job I've ever heard. Being a at-home dada, which is adorable, first of all. That's awesome, man. So your wife goes out, you hang out with the kids. I honestly think that would be the most fun job ever. Just hanging out with the kids, just being fun dad. You have 2 children, right? You have a son and then a pretty new baby girl. So Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that we have finally gotten some clarity. We know the merger's happening. We know that you are now on the Houston Roughnecks. They drafted you because they're smart. They knew that, hey, this guy's a baller. And Quan Drake, the defensive line coach over there, he was very heavy-handed. He went into the draft. He was one of the few coaches that went into the draft with a general manager. And the GM, Lionel Vitale, said, draft whatever defensive lineman you want. And so he handpicked you to be on his defensive line. So take that as you will. Seems like a compliment to me. And as far as, being impressive, you're a pretty impressive dude. So how you got there, though, is what I want to talk about. Let's go all the way back to Springville, Utah. You grow up there, you play high school ball, go on to Weber State. But at what point, before getting to Weber State, did you really fall in love with the game of football and realize, oh, this is something I want to do for the rest of my life? This is the thing I love to do?
I would say it's pretty early on because I was diagnosed pretty early with ADHD. So it was just a way for me to get my energy out. My parents threw me in tackle football when I was 6. And as soon as I'm pretty sure my first day I speared a kid, and I got up and was just grinning ear to ear. So I think at that moment I fell in love with the game. But I've been a baseball guy my whole life. But I think when I got into high school, I kind of figured I was like, yeah, I probably won't make it anywhere with baseball, but maybe with football.
Interesting. Man, speaking of baseball, you and I have been talking a little bit since the draft, and you were nice enough to send me this video that is baseball related, baseball adjacent. It has to do with a bat. And so let's talk about it. We're talking about your high school right now. Let's talk about it, and then you just kind of tell us the story behind it.
I got you.
Oh, here we go.
Excited for finishing off my high school career with the Buds and winning and sunshine.
Ooh. So what happened there? What did we just see?
So we were doing morning announcements, like for the seniors, like getting ready to go to our final like preseason tournament in St. George, Utah, and I went first just to get it over with. And that kid that he let go of the bat, I was messing around on that tee, and he was watching. And I was swinging really hard, and I think he thought he could do the same thing. He was a sophomore, younger kid, and the bat just slipped out of his hand and just whacked me right in the head.
Man, it really got you there.
8 staples worth. It did its damage.
Oof. And also, the biggest travesty of the whole thing is that you ruined this guy's morning announcement, man. He was doing a great job. Look at this guy. He was smiling. He was doing great on camera. You're just in the back
messing around. No, that is a hilarious video, and thank you so much for sending that. So it kind of shows that you're a guy who likes to be goofy, likes to mess around. So probably a pretty decent teammate, which is always a good thing to be. But that was you warming up for baseball, hanging out, playing baseball. What specifically made you decide football is what I'm going to do? Was it the fact that you thought you could go further, or did you enjoy one sport more than the other?
I think the scholarships kind of forced the hand, because I started varsity baseball as a freshman, but I didn't play varsity football until like midway through the sophomore year. Is when I started really playing. And so I really thought I was going to go play on baseball in college and stuff and try to go on to the majors and minors and stuff. But then kind of took off a little bit when I started playing. Had some really good games. Junior year, got a lot bigger, moved to defensive end because I started at linebacker when I was a sophomore, because I was like maybe 175, something like that. And just got bigger throughout the years and got some interest. And I got 1 or 2 offers. And the one offer I got was from my uncle when he was at Weber State. So I think that was just like forced my hand. Like, I didn't get nothing for baseball, so let's go rock with football.
There you go. Well, it works out for me that you decided to choose football because I don't have a baseball show. So we wouldn't be interviewing right now. But you go on to Weber State, which is still in the state of Utah. Was it specifically because of your uncle, or also you were closer to home? You just really like the color purple? What made you choose Weber State?
My only offer. And
that makes it easy, right?
Yeah, basically. I thought I was going to get more offers because I was like one of the top players in the state of Utah, 24.5 sacks, a few rushing touchdowns, a few receiving touchdowns. So I thought I was going to get something. I was hoping to go to Utah, but guess I was too small for them or something. I didn't hear anything for them. But uncle ended up calling me. He's like, look, you better take this offer. It's your only one. I was like, you ain't got to go too far after that. I was like, it's my only one. I'm going to take it either way.
That's fair. And now you had mentioned before the show that your uncle works at BYU and he's a football coach over there. And now are you kind of like, man, why couldn't he have been up in like big FBS when he offered me? But ever wondered about that? Would you want to play at BYU?
No, probably not. I mean, it would be cool if it was my only offer, or if it was, I guess, if between Weber State, BYU, like FBS, pretty like notorious school versus we got Damian Lillard at Weber State, like known for basketball, not so much football.
Heck yeah,
so
Damian Lillard, that name holds some weight, so we don't sleep on Damian Lillard. But you go to Weber State, and I think it's interesting, just a little fun fact that I found. You had 22 sacks your senior year of high school, and then in your career at Weber State, you had 22 career sacks. So just, I don't know, 22, it's a lucky number for you. If you ever start seeing 22 around, it's because that's your number. But you go to Weber State, and there is a gentleman on YouTube who considers you the greatest defensive player to ever play at Weber State. And then you went on to play for the greatest USFL team of all time, which apparently he has been a fan of since 1983. So do you consider yourself the best defensive player in Weber State? And also, how did you enjoy being at Weber State?
No, I wouldn't say I'm the best. We got a 4th-round corner that plays for the Bills right now, complete dog. And there's just been a few guys throughout the years that won Super Bowl rings and stuff. So, like, I'm not even at the top of the list for accolades or anything there. Like, I have one thing and then tied with some guy that played in the NFL for 4 sacks a game.
You are too humble. You did absolutely well there, man. You were
killing it. Man, we can check out your pro day here. Just have it in the background. 19 reps. That's pretty good, dude. I mean, I don't know if I could do that. So I'm pretty impressed. But I do find I go and I try and find everything I can, right? You're too busy watching yourself on your pro day. But I wanted to lead it into my next question. You have your pro day at Weber State. You're going into the draft process.
We didn't have a pro day.
Then what is this video that is weirdly silent, might I ask? You might want to see the dude who edited it. He should have had music or something.
So COVID happened. So like the week before our pro day was supposed to happen, I went back between one of the workouts and was watching ESPN, and they were saying they were pulling all the scouts off the road because of COVID. Ooh. So they basically shut down all of the following pro days, and that was one of mine. So we were about to we were probably going to go to Utah State because Jordan Love was there at the time. So we were going to go there because all 32 teams and GMs were going to be there. So, but yeah, we didn't have a pro day, so we filmed it where we trained. We had lasers and stuff, but didn't get no scouts.
Dude, I love this video. It honestly just shows the fact that you are absolutely willing to grind. You guys are taping the measuring tape to the wall. You're taping it to the vertical, like making sure this is legit. We have proved it with visual evidence. I think this video is awesome. It just shows that you were willing to go the extra mile to make sure that your tape got out there. I couldn't find any actual highlight tape or anything
of you though at Weber State. I assume you were an absolute dog.
There's one. It's like a minute long. There's one on there.
Man, I tried to dig. You warned me beforehand. You said there's not going to be anything online. You're not going to find stuff. And I was like, no, I always find stuff. I couldn't find a lot, man. I really could not find a lot. You keep your social media circle very small, and it's impressive. It's impressive that you're able to keep yourself that off the grid. It's cool. So no pro day, all that stuff. That is a story that we hear a lot with the USFL, XFL, UFL. And it's something that I think these leagues came around right at the right time, right? The first one was wiped out because of COVID. And then COVID affected a lot of players. So they were able to then get a second chance, get some tape. Obviously, we've seen a large number of players sign NFL contracts after playing in the USFL. So what was your path after Weber State, after COVID happening? How did you find the USFL and eventually, get drafted to Bart Andrews, Philadelphia Stars?
So there's two parts to that story. So you ever hear of the Spring League, TSL?
Yeah, TSL.
So I played in that for 2 years.
What team?
Playing for free. I was on the Blues with Ted Cottrell.
Nice.
Old Houston Roughnecks coach. And he loved me the first year. All I did was just put my head down and just grind it out. Got a good film, and he ended up calling me back for the next year because I didn't get anything from there. Because that ended up getting shut down because of COVID too. Because there was a breakout at the hotel that all the guys were in. So that one got shut down, and then went back for the next year. Thought I had a better year. Nothing shook again. I had a couple of my teammates actually sign NFL contracts. So it kind of put me down a little bit. And then heard through Twitter that there was going to be a USFL thing. So I guess I'm sure that's how everybody found out, was through social media, that there was going to be a USFL. But then how I got picked up by the Stars was my D-line coach. He coached at D-line in Northern Colorado, which was in the Big Sky Conference, the same conference we're in. And I think I had a good game against him, probably had 2 sacks, a few tackles. And he saw my name on the list, and he told the coaches, I want this guy. I know what he can do. And he made some phone calls to my old coaches, and Stars aligned and became a Star.
Man, people don't know, but you've been doing puns all day. That was a great one. The Stars aligned. You ended up on the Philadelphia Stars. And then you get there and you just, let me pull it up. Let me just show people what you did. Because this one, there is actually a legitimate video, which is always nice to have. So you get into the USFL. You're an absolute dog. You're over there just killing it. And you ended up setting the modern day USFL record for the most sacks, 15.
They jipped me on one. I have 16.
You have 16. Which one did they jip you? Do you know specifically?
The playoff game. They didn't count the playoff one.
Are they just not counting playoff stats into the stats, or they left it off?
I think they just left it off. Maybe I mean, it could be. I think I asked my coach that, and I think he said something like that with playoff stuff. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll take 15.
That stinks. Well, dang. But you go in, you get 16 sacks. Season 1, you guys go all the way to the championship. Kind of just walk me through that season. What was it like for you being on the defensive side? Everybody talks about Case Cookins. Everybody talks about, him coming in and taking y'all. But the defense played a big part, specifically you being number 2 on the sack leader chart, right behind your now teammate, Chris Odom. You played a big part in that. What was it like on the defensive side of the ball?
It was actually pretty fun. Everybody was kind of laid back. Everybody's kind of like similar, I guess, personalities, kind of laid back, goofy. But the beginning of camp, I was stressing, so I didn't talk. And all my buddies that got picked up from the spring league, I talked to them like, look, I might get cut. But I think the spot that I think the day that probably solidified it was when Brian Scott threw me a pick at the just on the line. He just threw it right to me. I just jumped up, grabbed it. So, but through that, going through camp, signed, I was like, whew, okay, that's off my shoulders. And went into the season, didn't really play much for the first few games. I was just mainly on special teams. Tried to make what I could with that. And one of our DNs actually ended up having a career-ending neck injury. So then stars aligned again. And I started getting I got the starting spot and kind of just took off from there.
That's impressive. The fact that you were second place on the sack leader chart and you didn't even start the first couple games really shows how much you were producing in the games that you did get to be in. So that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the sacks is coverage. Like Strip had 7 picks the first year.
Yeah.
Monty had 3 or 4, something like that. Like
I think he had 4.
Yeah. So, like, well, our secondary is stacked, like, boss. Just, how they say complementary defense. D-line helps the DBs, and DBs help D-line.
Yes, and I'm going to pull that down because I don't want to get copyrighted by the USFL. But
I made that.
You had 2 great seasons. Yes, but it's still their film. And
that's true.
You made that, but it was posted by Philip Sandgren. Thank you, Philip.
All right, I sent him the film he made.
You sent him the film. Thank you, Philip. That was very nice of you. But you had 2 great seasons. You go in, the merger happens. You don't have to wear those uniforms anymore. Give me your honest opinion. What do you think of the Philadelphia Stars uniforms?
The ketchup and mustard packets. That's
truly. They're sponsored by McDonald's, man. Like,
there's a kid I talked to on Instagram. He's on a mission right now, and somehow he found out who I was or had a connection to somebody and started messaging me on Instagram every now and then. He's like, dude, you're like the sponsor for McDonald's. I was like, no, please don't say that.
You're like, please, dude, no.
He's like, give me a Big Mac, please. I was like, I can't do nothing.
That's awesome. No, those uniforms were rough. I thought the away uniforms were actually not that bad. I enjoyed them. The home uniforms, the yellow pants, man. Oh, it was just tough. But what do you think now of getting to be in your old high school colors? The red, white, and blue, the Texas flag, literally having the flag on your head. What do you think about the new uniforms that you're going to be
in? Love it. I don't think I have any high school gear that fits, but it would be nice to be back in. It'll be nice to be back in the red, white, and blue.
Heck yeah, man. You said you were 175 in high school? There's no way. You're like 235 pounds now. There's no way.
250 now.
250? Oh, yeah. Man, offensive lineman, just get ready. That sucks. Just get ready for that. But I think it's going to be great having you against now the Roughnecks offensive line, which is, I think, the best offensive line and the best defensive line in the league are owned by the Houston Roughnecks. So the fact that you guys are going to be battling it out in practice, even the 2s, whoever that ends up being, are still going to be starting caliber players, and iron sharpens iron. So I am very excited to see that happen. Hopefully I get to drive up and take some photos of y'all, because I know that they hold the photos from you guys. All the players I've talked to have said that they don't get any of the photos that the league takes of them unless they post them on the social. So I'll come up and I'll take photos of y'all. I'll make sure I get them to you. But we'll do that. So take me through this draft process. What was it like wait, like hearing about the merger? Were you hearing things? Was it just seeing things on social media? Were you getting calls from the USFL? What was it like?
So I didn't know if the merge was gonna happen because there was a bunch of like hints at it through some things. Like social media was the big factor, and it was kind of like confusing because it seemed like you guys on social media knew more than we did.
We worked hard to do that, just so you know.
Hey, yo, I appreciate it. I found out I got drafted through you. So
Yeah. that was a fun thing. It was a little concerning at the time, but yes, I posted that you got drafted, and then you DM'd me like immediately because you went and followed me, DM'd me, and you said, I didn't know I got drafted. And I thought, and ever since we've kind of become friends. So I think it's a fun story, and I'm glad that eventually you got a call. So once you found out you got drafted, then what has it been like since?
it's been a lot easier. I'm not as stressed because it's just like, well, if my team doesn't make it, do I get picked up or am I just SOL? Like, so it's kind of stressful. But now that I'm picked up, it's a little bit easier on me.
Something that immediately stuck out to me is that you are the modern day record holder with 16 sacks. 16. I need to put an asterisk next to that 15 because apparently it doesn't include playoffs. You're the modern day record holder. You were number 2 season 1. You then had 6 season 2. You still were saying, man, I'm just glad I didn't know if I was going to get drafted. I was putting together tape for the CFL. That's crazy to me. Like, you are a very humble dude to think that, because all of us sitting there, social media sleuthing, covering you guys, you were never a name I was worried about not getting drafted. So the fact that you were worried, it just shows how, humble of a dude you are. So that's just a compliment to you. But
appreciate it.
Now we've gotten through that. Less of a compliment. Let's go. I have a question for you. I'm going to bring up a picture here.
Oh, sorry. That's the wrong photo. Let me move on from that one.
Go back to the first one.
Are we ever going to see this hair again, man? This was some One Direction level flow. What happened?
Nah, it's gone. I'm hiding the shiny head on top.
Man, the Big Sky Conference was blessed with that flow. I gotta tell you, that was a good time. It was featured in your makeshift pro day, all that. Absolutely love it. That's what I wanted to bring up. Oh man, how does this picture keep coming up?
I don't know. But
hey, what about the first year when I ended the game on 3 sacks and the safety?
The safety. Yep, a walk-off safety, which apparently you have also done in high school. So I did find that out. But walk-off safeties, that's pretty cool. Yes, so season 1, you got us, but season 2, that was the last time I knew happiness being a Gamblers fan. But now
that was a bad game for me. I had like a somewhat of a botched IV. Like, the lady was taking out the IV and it sucked up blood through the tube, and I went back to my locker room and I almost passed out. So like that whole game, I was just.
You were playing with like a pint less of blood than you should have had?
I don't know how much she took out, but it was enough for me to go, okay. So I didn't even warm up for that game. I was sitting on a table with a heart monitor on.
Well, I mean, we got lucky then, because you ruined us the first year. 3 sacks the first year. You had 3 sacks, 1 being a safety to end the game. And then literally you had to get bled like you were sucked by a vampire season 2 for us to beat you. But that was a good game for me, at least. Like I said, last time I knew happiness as a Gamblers fan. But now you're on the team. You get to be a part of it. Have you been talking to anybody on the team? Your friend from the Philadelphia Stars, Gabriel Sewell, he is now on the team as well.
Yes,
How excited are you to get to play with him again?
It'll be great. It's just finally, it was like after the 2 years, I was like, I've finally played in the same system for more than a year. So like this draft happened, and I was like, well, hopefully I get to play with somebody I kind of used to playing with, and he got picked up, and we were both confused, like, because we both found out from you that we got drafted.
Yeah. It worked out for me, because then you guys DM me, so now I know you guys, which is cool. That's fun.
No, but it would be cool to have Gabe. I'm just glad he's not on another team because if you watch his special teams highlights or just any of his game highlights, dude's got a hit stick on him.
Yes. No, he is a downhill, hit you in the mouth kind of guy. Very good
Yeah.
for the run game, which last season, the Gamblers, the thing was we had great linebackers. You know, they were fast, great cover guys. The hardest part was some bigger running backs could get through them, specifically Wes Hills, players like that. Now Wes Hills is over on the Michigan Panthers. Bo Scarborough is back with the Stallions. We need those big-headed, knock you out kind of guys like Gabe Sewell. Not like big head. He has a normal size head. But come downhill, hit you, feels like you got hit by a bowling ball. We need those kind of guys. Very excited. Two of the guys that I was most excited about seeing on the dispersal draft that the Roughnecks had picked up was you and him. And then obviously everybody is very, very excited for Reuben Foster, but I don't know if his PR person will let him come on my show. I'm hoping. Reuben, if you see this, come on, man. But we'll see. So until then, what do you do in your off time other when you're not dadding? I hear you like to fish a lot.
Yeah, I try to go fishing, but like the best time of the year to go fishing is when we're playing. So like springtime is when everybody hits the rivers and the fishing is really good. But so like try to go in the winter, you got to worry about your line getting frozen to your pole. Like you literally got to pick ice out of your eyelets.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
It's not fun. I'm gonna just keep it honest with you. It's not fun. Your fingers get cold because you put your fingers in the water and then you're just like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And you go back to the car, sit there, contemplate if you want to keep going. But it's only been a half hour, so you're like, well, no, let's go.
Jeez. And then, you know, you're in Utah, beautiful landscape, obviously a lot of fishing to do there, a lot of hunting.
Yeah.
Do you hunt at all? You told me that you had a good story.
I don't know if it's a good story. I think it's a funny, good story, but I haven't went hunting since I've gotten to high school. But my last year of rec league football or whatever you call it, I was on the mountain, shot a deer, we threw it in the back of my dad's truck. He has blood all over him because we gutted it and stuff. And go to a football game at 8:00 at night, and there's a dead deer in the back of my dad's truck, and he's got blood all over him in camo.
Man,
I think
if that's not a Utah story, I mean, that sounds like something that happens regularly down in Texas. I know you spent some time around the DFW area, you and your wife. So you already know that down here, Texas is just the same, man. People, you know, what is it? Your first kill, you have to rub the blood on your face. That stuff's always so crazy to me.
I heard you take a bite out of the heart, but
that's crazy. Some really good stuff. I lived in Mississippi for 2 years. And, you know, like the girls would decorate their binders and stuff coming to school. And in Mississippi, girls decorated their binders. And there were multiple girls in my class that had a photo of them with their holding their first buck, like head, with the blood smeared on their face. And I was like, this is a different place here. This is not, we are not in Kansas anymore. You know, I was like, this is crazy. So that story might surprise some viewers if you're seeing, sorry, a little gruesome. But for someone from Texas like me who's lived in Mississippi, southern states, that's fairly commonplace. It's pretty crazy. I've never hunted personally, but I know a lot of people who take a lot of solace in it, find it very peaceful, and do it literally every day. So that's nice. What else do you do in your off time? I want everybody to know Adam Rodriguez, not just as the player, not just as the best player in Weber State history, but as knowing you as a person. So let's get into this. Well, I have a segment in my show. I do it towards the end every time. It's called the Rapid Incoming Breakdown, where I ask you 4 questions that are not necessarily football related. In fact, they're really not football related. And you just answer with the first thing that comes to your head. Cool?
I got you.
All right. Question number 1. If there was an Adam Rodriguez movie, Adam Rodriguez, the film, what actor would play you?
Adam Rodriguez, the actor.
Nice. Criminal Minds, some other stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, when I first Googled you, he is the guy who came up.
That's all you found, huh?
Much more, yes. So Adam Rodriguez is pretty big. He's a very handsome gentleman, and he comes up a lot on a Google search. You have to do Adam Rodriguez football. But yeah, he's pretty yoked too. So like he could probably do it. He could, you know, put on a little bit of weight because right now he's pretty skinny. Like he couldn't rush a quarterback. No one would believe that. Like he'd have to put on a little weight. Then he goes and he could do it. All right. Number 2, Who is your all-time favorite superhero, like comic book hero, movie hero?
Ooh. I'll just go Batman. Where is she?
That's so you're not the first Batman I've gotten on the show, but you are the first to immediately do an impression, and that is fantastic. Where is she? That's fantastic. All right. Question number 3. This is a one that I find very, very interesting. I'm a huge music guy. You know, I'm a movie guy, so I like to ask that first question, and I'm a big music guy. And I'd like to know, what is your go-to workout song?
Go-to workout song.
Yes, sir.
Gotta do like a pregame song.
Sure.
So I got 2. I Am a Psycho by Tech Nine, Hobson, and B.O.B. And then to cool it down a little bit, Sauce by LMA. It's kind of weird, but that's what I've been doing since college, and it's been working, so I haven't changed it.
I completely understand that. I also had 2 songs that I had to listen to before every football game growing up, all the way until senior year. It was Jukebox Hero by Foreigner, because it played in the car on the way to my first game of the 7th grade. My dad was driving me. I was nervous out of my mind, which is funny because I wasn't going to play a play. But it was playing in the car on the way there, and I listened to it every game since. And Second Sucks by A Day to Remember. So those are my 2. Pretty opposite kind of songs. One's more chill, one's very angry. But yours are cool. Dang. I like that you had 2. Some people don't even have 1. They're like, I don't listen to music when I work out. I'm like, okay, psycho. That's crazy. But yes. Question number 4, though. Who is your biggest inspiration in life that is not an athlete?
My mom.
Nice.
She worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs to get me to get us through high school. So my mom.
I love that. I'm a proclaimed mama's boy myself. Sorry, Dad. And I always love hearing that. You know, that's a fairly common answer, and I think it should be. Our moms play a huge part in getting us here, and I just very much enjoy that answer, and we'll never get tired of it. So I love that. Man, Adam, those were great. You were the quickest, too. You were very, very fast on those answers. Some guys, like, they really ponder them, and I'm like, it's not that serious, I promise. Like, 30 people are going to watch this show. Half of them are going to be your mom. It's all good. But but I enjoyed your answers. Those were real quick and very good. I like that your actor is literally the same name. So he doesn't even have to get confused while he's acting.
Yes, sir.
They're just like, Adam. He's like, yeah, that's me. Like, I'm Adam Rodriguez. So that would be pretty cool. He would have a heck of a time dyeing his jet black hair to red beard and bald, but I think he could do it. I think he could pull it off.
CGI too. I mean,
yes, a little AI and stuff is coming a long way. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask if we could see the shiny head before we finish the interview. Come on, man. Oh, stud. That's a guy I want on my team right there. Perfect. Coach Drake, good pick. Good pick. All right, Adam. Well, we have reached the end of the show. And when we reach the end of the show, I call that the end zone. And when we get into the end zone, I hand the mic over to you, not literally, but figuratively. And the floor is yours. If you have any shout outs to fans, shout outs to friends and family, or a brand that you're repping that you want to say a little piece about, this is your time, man. It's all you.
All right. Shout out. I want to shout out my wife. Obviously 2 kids. She does it all, especially when I'm gone. And then shout out my mom. Shout out my little sister. And then my buddy Phil that made the highlight tape that I sent him to. He made the other one that you couldn't find. Shout out to him because he's helped me a lot. And then I just got some stuff from Incrediwear. So shout out to Incrediwear, helping me recover.
Nice.
So, but I'm excited to be a Houston Roughneck. Excited to get the season going.
Heck yeah, Roughnecks fans. We got a good one here. We got a dog, the best player to ever, defensive player to ever play at Weber State, according to some crazy old man on YouTube. Sorry if he sees this. And the current modern day USFL sack leader holder. That's a mouthful, but it's you, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for taking the time. I know being a dad is a full-time job, and especially, when your wife's like away. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been fantastic. I cannot wait to have you on again, hopefully sometime this season, and we'll talk about how many sacks you're getting out there. Sound good?
I got you. Appreciate
Sounds
you.
Good. All right. Well, This has been Roughnecks Rundown with the newest Houston Roughnecks. I keep wanting to say Gamblers, but Houston Roughnecks defensive end, Adam Rodriguez. Get him out of the mustard and ketchup and get him into the red, white, and blue. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
I'm in the big leagues, Tony don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, hey, feeling like Whitney.